I didn't understand what was happening to my body at first. I just knew something was wrong, terribly wrong. My heart was hammering against my ribs like it was trying to escape. My vision doubled, and my skin felt as if electricity was crawling beneath it. I remember clutching the kitchen counter, trying to stay upright, wondering whether anxiety was finally killing me or if this was the moment my heart would give out for real. I wasn't supposed to feel this way. Not when I strictly followed my prescription. Not when I kept every forbidden drug far away from me. But then I saw the orange pill bottle on the table, the one that wasn't mine, and everything snapped into place like a puzzle I should have solved months ago. That was the night I almost died. The night my fiancée decided she needed to prove that my heart condition was in my head. The night paramedics saved me, and the night she was arrested. 18 months have passed since then, but I can still hear the clicking sound of the handcuffs, the way her breath hitched when they pulled her away, the police officer telling me I was lucky to be alive. But to understand how we reached that moment, I have to go back to when I thought she loved me. When I met Emily, I had already been living with my diagnosis for years. It wasn't life-ending, but it was dangerous if I didn't monitor my medication. I took beta blockers daily, and I had one rule drilled into my head by every doctor I ever saw: never combine them with stimulants. Not caffeine pills, not certain antidepressants, and definitely not pseudoephedrine. That combination could cause an arrhythmia strong enough to kill. I explained all of this to her early on, not because I wanted sympathy, but because she deserved to know the reality of dating me. She laughed softly, told me I was overthinking things, kissed my forehead, and promised to protect me. I thought it was sweet at the time. The sweetness didn't last. The first time she made a comment that unsettled me was during a dinner with her family. I'd taken my medication an hour before we left, and as usual, it made me a bit lightheaded. I mentioned I needed a minute to sit down. Her mother nodded with empathy. Emily rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on, he's fine. He always thinks something's wrong with him." The table went quiet. I told myself she was joking. But she kept joking like that. At the grocery store, "Do you think these stairs might trigger your poor fragile heart?" When I skipped coffee, "Right. The big, scary caffeine monster." Sometimes she said it jokingly, sometimes with irritation, sometimes with that cold, sharp edge in her voice that made me feel stupid for even caring about my own health. Then the incidents began. Twice I found my medication case open when I was certain I'd closed it. Once, I tasted something metallic in my water. Another day, I found one of my pills crushed into powder in the sink, even though I wasn't taking anything that needed to be crushed. I confronted her gently, not accusingly, just asking if she had touched anything. She always gave the same answer. "Why would I mess with your pills? Why are you being paranoid?" And I believed her. Because I loved her, and because she cried each time I doubted her. A few weeks later, she insisted I attend her friend's birthday party, even though I told her I wasn't feeling well. She kept saying I'd ruin the night if I bailed. I pushed myself to go. An hour in, I started feeling my heartbeat stutter unnaturally, like it missed a step. Then another. Emily looked annoyed, not concerned. You're doing this again? Seriously? You're embarrassing me. Her friend overheard and whispered that I looked pale. Emily pulled me into the hallway and hissed in my ear, "If you collapse here, I swear to God." That was the first time I wondered whether she hated me. But I still stayed, because toxic love doesn't look toxic from the inside. It looks like dedication. It feels like obligation. It whispers that you owe them more, even when they give you less. And then came the night that changed everything. We were cooking dinner. I had set my medication on the counter because I needed to take it with food. I stepped out of the kitchen for less than a minute to grab something from the living room. When I returned, she was standing close to my pill bottle. Too close. And she jumped when I walked in, actually jumped, like a kid caught stealing cookies. "What are you doing?" I asked. She laughed, loud and forced. "Nothing. God, stop sneaking up on me." Something felt wrong, deeply wrong. But I pushed it aside, took my medication, and sat down for dinner. Half an hour later, I felt a wave of dizziness so intense I nearly fell from my chair. My chest tightened, my heartbeat skittered like it was slipping on ice. My fingers tingled. It felt like my body was shutting down, like something was poisoning me from the inside out. I staggered to my feet, gripping the wall. "Emily, call 911. She didn't move. She folded her arms. "See? You're doing it again. You're fine." "I can't breathe," I gasped. She shook her head in disappointment. "You just want attention." I collapsed onto my knees. She still didn't move. I don't remember hitting the floor, but I remember the sound of my own heartbeat pounding in my ears, fast and irregular, like a chaotic drum. I remember thinking, this is it. This is how I die. On the kitchen tiles while the person I love watches. When I came to, bright lights were blinding me. Paramedics were kneeling over me. One was placing pads on my chest. Another was shouting questions. Emily was standing in the corner, arms still crossed, face tight with irritation. "What did you give him?" one of the paramedics demanded. She jerked back. "What? Nothing." But the other medic held up a small orange pill bottle they'd found on the counter. Not mine. Not my prescription. "Pseudoephedrine," he said. "This, with his meds, could have killed him." Everything fell silent. The medic turned to Emily. "Did you give him this?" She didn't answer. Not no, not yes. Just silence, cold, damning silence. One of the paramedics pulled out his radio. "We need police at this location." Emily's voice broke. "What? No, I didn't mean he always exaggerates. He wasn't supposed to actually." The paramedic cut her off. "Ma'am, the combination you gave him can induce a fatal arrhythmia. He's lucky we got here in time." The police arrived minutes later. They asked her questions. She tried to talk her way out of it. But she made one critical mistake. She admitted she'd been trying for months to show him his condition wasn't that serious. That was all they needed. When they handcuffed her, she screamed my name. Tell them I didn't mean it. Tell them, you know, I love you. Tell them I couldn't even lift my head. At the hospital, doctors confirmed that the medication in my system did not match my prescription. There was enough in me to trigger a heart event. I spent 2 days in intensive care. She spent the next 18 months awaiting trial. Her lawyer reached out multiple times, asking if I wanted to give a statement, clarifying her intentions. I refused each time. Intentions don't matter when someone plays with your life. 2 weeks ago, the trial ended. She was found guilty of reckless endangerment and tampering with medication. Today, I signed the last of the legal documents. It's over, officially. But the story doesn't end with her sentencing. It ends with this: I no longer apologize for surviving. I no longer shrink myself to make someone else feel comfortable. I no longer second guess my own health, fear, pain, or instincts. I listen to my body now because it tried to warn me for months, and because next time I might not have the chance to listen at all.